So while scrolling on Twitter, I came across a tweet discussing Enel versus pre-war arc Naruto. I was taken away from this post, and while I could talk about so many versions of Naruto before the war that could beat Enel, I decided to discuss a version of him that would actually make the fight close, in Kid Naruto. What's up guys, my name is Verdix, and if you enjoy videos like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I put out quality content like this weekly, you won't want to miss. Now, Part 1 scaling is a bit ambiguous if you don't know what to look for. During his brief battle with Orochimaru in the Forest of Death, Naruto was able to stop the giant snake ready to attack Sasuke while it was going at full force, and these snakes were able to level a few city blocks and keep multiple Jonin caught in battle. Now, during the Forest of Death, Naruto might not have been able to deliver strikes that would have beat these snakes, but after his first battle with Sasuke at the Final Valley, he would most definitely be capable of this feat. Another feat that can be upscaled depending on how you look at it is his Rasengan on Kabuto, as after landing it, he was able to pretty much one-shot him. Now yes, Naruto did need to get his hand impaled to hold Kabuto in place to land this attack, but the reason this is so impressive is because Kabuto was directly compared to Kakashi before Kakashi started training again after his interaction with Orochimaru in the Chunin exams. During his fight with Gaara, Naruto was able to wombo combo him even when partially transformed into Shukaku, and at the end of the arc was able to punch Gaara out of his state and headbutt him, despite being as badly injured as he was. Naruto only gets much stronger than this, and while I do think it would be too difficult for Naruto to hit Kakashi, if beginning of part 1 Kakashi got hit with a Final Valley QB amped Rasengan, it might take him out, as that version of Naruto was able to clash with Curse Mark 2 Sasuke and deal multiple blows onto him. This version of Sasuke, when just flexing his chakra, can scare Kabuto, and this was after Sasuke beat Naruto that got much stronger than when he one-shot that same Kabuto. He can also stack his clones on top of this to deliver onslaughts of attacks onto his opponents. Not only does he have his own insane power to use, but he also has the aid of the Nine Tails. Now, I want to say this now rather than in the summary. For those who think that the Nine Tails would just not help Naruto during this fight, or it wouldn't in most cases, well, I'm assuming you haven't touched a page of Naruto before. Kurama helps him out every single arc. He even uses it twice during the Chunin exams. He is most definitely getting the aid of the Nine Tails during this fight. Mind you, Kurama doesn't want to die himself, so yeah, QB Cloak will be implied for this fight, as so will his ability to summon Gamabunta, which is stronger than Kid Naruto and has a multitude of abilities himself. The guy was in aid of Naruto's fight against both Gaara and Pain, and was able to combat Shukaku as well as fight off the Animal Path summonings in a 1v1. These animals were able to level multiple sections of Konoha and are getting mid-diffed at best by Gamabunta in the ones. Being that he is capable of heavily damaging characters relative to beginning of Part 1 Kakashi and can summon multiple clones to aid in those attacks, Part 1 Naruto would be around multi-city block level and attack potency. Enel is someone with two lines of scaling. With his regular attacks, he was capable of shooting a lightning bolt at Luffy and the others that caused a massive crater and obliterated everything it came into contact with. He also was able to one-shot the snake that Wiper was having trouble with, and uses moves like 1 million volts to cause a wide spread of damage onto his opponents. When he starts to get more serious and use more volts, he can fire a giant lightning bird towards his enemies, and when going all out, he can coat himself in a giant body of lightning with 200 million volts. He does use a weapon in his high voltage spear that could be blocked but burns you in the process. He was also just causing destruction all over. This is good enough to get him around small city level in attack potency when using these attacks. However, there are two feats Enel has that I assume are linked that can get him higher than this. As with Raigo, he was capable of destroying an island of Skypiea, and is presumed to be the same case in Burka. If you aren't aware, Burka was an island near Skypiea, which Enel is from, that he destroyed with Raigo most likely. The one downside to this attack, however, is it takes fucking forever to charge up, and that will play a factor in this fight. Overall, Enel can consistently produce city level AP, but with Raigo, he can reach that island level threshold. Now, for Naruto's speed, we'll have to go over other characters' feats that he upskills from. In the Forest of Death, Dosu was able to fire attacks at the speed of sound, yet Rock Lee was able to dodge these attacks and outspeed them completely. Speaking of, the same Lee was able to move so fast that Gaara's sand couldn't keep up once he took his weights off. Sasuke, when fighting Gaara later in the same arc, was able to move at the same speed and gets much faster throughout part 1. When Naruto fights Gaara, he can keep up with him in multiple occasions to land attacks, and like Sasuke, gets much faster, as in the Search for Tsunade arc, he was able to move in front of Kabuto before he could hit Tsunade, whom like I said, was comparable to Kakashi before he started training again. During their battle at the Final Valley, Naruto and Sasuke were able to perform feats that outshined what Kakashi was capable of as a kid. Kid Kakashi was a Jonin and even promoted to an Anbu agent, but most noticeably for this section, was able to tag and cut a lightning bolt before it hit the ground. Both Naruto and Sasuke surpassed what Kid Kakashi was capable of, and this would mean that part 1 Naruto is a lightning timer, and I would argue a bit faster. Although I must say, he can't keep the speed up consistently, but he can perform this speed multiple times throughout his fight and can react to these lightning timed attacks. Enel's speed is pretty simple. Lightning. There isn't too much to go into this. It hasn't been shown that he can move faster than lightning, so it's the peak of his movement speed at the moment, but it's very important to note that the speed in all terms of it is very consistent, as his reaction, travel, and combat speed all follow the same lightning scaling. One thing to note that helps his speed is his mantra or observation haki. It's not future sight, even though some people treat it like it is, but he can get a decent level of precognition for his opponent's attacks. So yeah, lightning level speed on a very consistent end for Enel. Now, Naruto's durability is pretty simple, as there's no special skin protecting him, but his endurance is very impressive. During his battle with Neji, he can withstand his chakra points being struck at and beat him. In his battle with Gaara, he was struck multiple times by a partially transformed Gaara that could even withstand Chidori's from Sasuke. Yet even then, Naruto could withstand these attacks and summon 2,000 shadow clones and then Gamabunta. One thing to note with Naruto's endurance is that his regeneration plays a very big part in this section, as during the Final Valley, Naruto was pierced by Sasuke, where he states it should have pierced his lung completely or punctured it, yet Naruto is able to brush this off and instantly heal an internal organ and close the wound in his shoulder. Mind you that a weaker version of Chidori was able to penetrate Gaara's sand on multiple occasions and has only gotten a lot stronger since. Naruto also has like insane stamina even at this point in the series, as the dude fought Neji, who disrupted all his chakra points, then after beating him, tracked down partially transformed Gaara, fought him, got beat up, summoned 2,000 clones, and still had enough chakra left to summon fucking Gamabunta and punch and headbutt the shit out of Gaara. Then, to make this crazier, not only does he gain more stamina as part 1 progresses, but he learns to control his chakra more during his training with Jiraiya. Chakra control is something that massively benefits the user's stamina if he uses it right. While Naruto might not have the full control over his chakra he does in Shippuden, it's still noteworthy to add on top of his unending stamina. If you are a long-time viewer of my channel, you would know how I feel about Enel's endurance, as something a lot of fans never point out when hyping him up is that after Wiper hit him with a dial, he pretty much killed Enel. The only reason he stayed alive was because he restarted his heart with lightning before fully passing out. Not just this, but one punch from Luffy had him on the floor in fucking pain and agony. While he was comboed with multiple hits, he cannot brush them off and is actively afraid of every punch Luffy is throwing. He's literally standing there saying wait, because he can't avoid these punches or withstand them. That's always been the downside to Enel. He never gets hit, but because of that, his body isn't able to withstand damage and he tends to panic. Just like he did with the dial, if his body was tendered in battle, he most likely wouldn't have been near death. Sure, it would still do damage, but he would be able to withstand it better, and this is just what I said, he doesn't have a good endurance. I get that Luffy wasn't necessarily weak or anything like that, but the arc before, fucking Crocodile was taking a lot more hits from Luffy before being defeated. Unless he comes back into the story and shows something off, his endurance holds him back a lot during this fight. So here we are now. Who wins? Well, first off, I must address how Naruto can even touch Enel. So if you do diverse in a lot of cross-verse topics, you would know what verse equalization is. If you don't, it's the rule applied to all cross-verse battles, allowing characters to interact with each other freely. So I better not see a soul ask this question in the comments. Now, as for what would happen during this fight, Well, I think it's really important to discuss the setting of this fight in particular, as if you were to have them fight in a forest like Skypiea, you're giving Naruto a lot of room to work with and take cover in. He can use clones to distract Enel while the real Naruto conserves energy. However, if this battle is in an open field, Enel will not be fooled as easily by the clones nearly as much as he would in a forest. If Naruto can land multiple attacks in on Enel, then it would certainly do damage to him if hit. But I would also like to state that Enel has a bit more room to work with, as he wouldn't have to land as many attacks on Naruto as Naruto would have to do to Enel. But the thing is, Naruto has a way of countering these lightning attacks besides just dodging, as Usopp of all people was able to cancel out Enel's lightning with Flame Star, so a Rasengan could definitely achieve the same feat. It's not just that he can do, as if he summons Gamma Bunta, he can just shoot a water blast to cancel out these attacks. Now, I must state that Gamma Bunta is a fucking crazy arsenal in Naruto's bag, as Gamma Bunta is stronger than Part 1 Naruto and can overpower the animals Pain was summoning, is a rival to Manda, and most noticeably can match a tailed beast in a 1v1. The guy is incredibly mobile and is well trained with the blade. Even if Enel were to hit him with millions of volts, he is able to take attacks from Shukaku and the animal paths. This is also while Naruto has 2,000 fucking clones to combat Enel while he's dealing with Gamma Bunta. The dude is going to be overwhelmed, and once the first few hits take effect on Enel, he is going to panic like he did with Luffy, especially when there are 2,000 of these fucking kids and a giant ass frog coming for his neck. On top of this, if Naruto gets pissed off enough, which Enel can definitely do, he can draw on the power of the Nine Tails. This power when he gets pissed off is crazy enough that practically baby Naruto at the start of the series was able to break out of Haku's ice mirrors and make Haku look more like a bitch than he already did. Zabuza himself considered Haku stronger than him, and Zabuza was boxing with Kakashi evenly the entire arc. Yet this very weak version of Naruto, when he gets pissed off, can bitch Jonin level opponents. Mind you, Enel isn't a likable guy, and after the first few sentences, Naruto is going to want nothing more than to punch this guy in the mouth. Let's say Enel does land an attack like El Thor onto Naruto. This attack would definitely hurt him, but this isn't the end to the fight, as these attacks aren't killing minor characters in Skypiea, who Kid Naruto is definitely stronger than. And on top of this, Naruto can heal himself due to the Nine Tails. He also is able to react and tag Enel, being that both him and Sasuke surpasses Kid Kakashi, who himself could tag lightning bolts before it hit the ground. But this movement isn't too consistent compared to Enel's, and if he were to land an 100 million volts attack, it would do a lot of damage to Naruto. But if he landed 200 million volts, it would critically injure Naruto and he could pass out. However, Enel would still have a Gamma Bunta to deal with, who, I'ma just say it, Enel cannot beat in a 1v1, especially with 2,000 Narutos running around the battlefield. Like I said, if you have Gamma Bunta run the ones while Naruto sits back and summons clones, Enel will be tagged and overwhelmed. If he didn't have Gamma Bunta to summon, this fight would go Enel's way more than not. But people really gotta understand how much he's helping Naruto out here. Sure, Enel is more consistent with his speed and has some observation haki to help, but it doesn't make him untouchable, and he wouldn't have a way to tell which Naruto is the real one. If he decides to focus on the clones, Gamma Bunta is going to have a clear opening, but if he focuses on Gamma Bunta, 2,000 clones are going to be up his ass comboing him. It's a double-edged sword for Enel. If he could withstand attacks better, then it would be a lot better odds in his favor, but Enel is lacking that ability. Yes, Rago would get him the win here, but this attack takes forever to charge up. Gamma Bunta and 2,000 Narutos won't just sit there and let him charge up a fucking spirit bomb. They're going to charge at him. Ultimately, Naruto has way too much help and will ultimately outman and overpower Enel in the end of this fight. Unless you think Enel can beat Gamma Bunta, who can box with Tailed Beast and 2,000 clones on top of this, Enel isn't winning this. Well, that's it for you guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and leave a like. It really helps with the algorithm and is very appreciated. As always, shout out to Tiberius for the thumbnail. He makes quality thumbnails for me all the time. And if you would like some of your own, hit him up on Twitter, link in the description, as well as my Twitter @verdicts_ for more of my takes. And without further ado, you guys can get out of here.